Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon for December. I want to welcome you to the Black News Network. First thing I would like to say is today's topic is about reparations. And we've always talked that we need to be paid our reparations, and that every other country that has to do with this country got their reparations. It's a big deal. And one of the biggest things we'll face when we do receive our reparations is proof of ownership, proof of who is qualified, who are qualified to receive reparations. And that is quite a endeavor to prove who are entitled and who are not. And it's easy for the ones that are, because you have to show one little thing, and that is your connection to your ancestors. And that is the entire situation. We are disconnected from our ancestors, so we cannot show proof why we should receive all this stuff. So we start at the base and build our basic line, which is our hereditary line from our ancestors, proving that we are all descendants of slaves. Then there won't be such a big damn fuss when it comes time for the next generation or the generation after that one to receive their due compensation. Everybody in Washington, D.C. already know that they owe us those reparations. Even the Bible tells the world that we need to be reinstated into our natural place. Leviticus 25:10 spells it out for you. And it's not only in the Bible, it's encrypted into the Liberty Bell. Now, that's the significance of the Liberty Bell. Read the encryption on the Liberty Bell. Leviticus 25:10. Same thing about us. Even the Liberty Bell tells us. So this is a new phase of our development for the Black News Network, and it's about the educating and education of things that are not taught in school, that we missed all the way through college. They refuse to tell us or teach us these things. And some people, it's against the law to even talk about slavery in certain states. But this is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, providing you information on a weekly basis about the things that affect us. We do not own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. Now, talking reparations, the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. So reparation 100% applies to us, and it is the correct word that applies to us. So let's dive into it a little bit and start at the very first thing you hear most people say when somebody walk up and say, "Hey, what do y'all want for reparations?" What's the first thing you're gonna hear? Money. Everybody thinks the money solves the problem, and I guarantee you, if and when this day comes where reparations are paid, the very first thing the government will offer is money, because the money is 70% put back into the economy within 30 days. So much of this money, that if they gave everybody that can prove that they are descendants of slaves, if they could give every one of those people money, then that money, 70% of that money will be right back into the economy so fast it wouldn't be money. We go out and we spend money on outrageous things, and we have to be aware of that, and most people don't want to talk about it, but we got to talk about it because people need to stop doing this foolishness. You know, everybody want to forget about our affirmative action. Everybody don't think that that's necessary, but how in the hell can you think that's not possible? That's not right when you held us back all these damn years and you made us work for free. And when you do the calculation of that money, you owe us big time. Big time. So showing proof of your descendancy. It's not very hard, and it's not very easy either. So you have to start by just going up the ladder as far as you can with everybody that's alive. And then you're going to have to visit some cemeteries. And when you go to those cemeteries, normally you're going to find those headstones back to back to back to back. And they're going to be all descendants of yours. And the number one best place in the country, the number one best place in the country to research your lineage, believe it or not, it is Salt Lake City and the Mormon Chapel. They have the most extensive database of us, Black people, in the world. So if you really want to know something about your history, go to Salt Lake City and go to the Mormon Temple and go to their records and archives. Oh, and by the way, when you visit the African American Cultural Center in Washington, D.C., you have two opportunities. One, you go into a booth and you can talk for 2 minutes about who you are and where you came from and what is your legacy, what is your disease. That is a beautiful thing. And there's another center in that same building where you can go to and do the exact same research that you can do in Salt Lake City. Now, this is in Washington, D.C. You go into it, there's an entire room, about 1,000 square foot room dedicated to researching your ancestry. So when you go to the African American Cultural Diversity Center, ensure that you go into that room and look at your lineage if you can find it. Now, everybody know how we get our last name after the slave masters, and it's very important that you follow it through and follow your lineage wherever it may go in that way. But I'm absolutely sure we can take ourselves back to 1865, which is not that damn far back. You know, I've been able to go back as far as 1896, but I still have another 45 years to go to get back to 1865, and that's where we need to be. If you can trace your lineage back to 1865, then you're on the right track. You're on your way, because now you've established the plantation you and your ancestors were released from, which is the most important step, is to know where your ancestors were on January 1, 1865. And if you want to be overly protective and overly correct on this, do it January 1, 1863. So let's just say 1863, January 1, because the Emancipation Proclamation was signed into law in 1863, and the law was implemented in January 1. It was signed into law with an implementation date of January 1, 1865. So know your lineage. That's the very first thing. The next thing is about the money. Everybody wants to talk about money. There's so many other elements that the United States can give us other than just money. No, not give us, owe us. They ain't giving us a damn thing. There's not a single thing, not one single thing in America that the federal government will give to us specifically, not shared with minorities, because when they throw the damn word minority or people of color, that's a damn slap in the face again. Every time you turn Black Friday, slap in the face. People of color, slap in the face for the original black people, descendants of the slaves. And just because they got this narrative that everybody come out of Africa on everybody's mind, that don't, when a conquering nation comes in and take over a country, the people that are there becomes the slaves of that entourage, of that damn capitalistic society moving into a new country. They take everybody as slaves and work the shit out of them to build the society for them. And if they and all the laws are written to keep the slaves, the natives, in place. Every damn law were written back then for slaves that may have been a little bit more prouder than just being a slave. So they write laws to put your ass right back in jail. It was almost like the railroad led you off the plantation and you did a 180-degree turn back onto the slave plantation. But you got caught up in between that U-turn with all the bureaucracy that they created to get your ass back on that plantation. And everybody got paid along the way, by the way. The police, the slave catchers, so to speak, got paid for bringing you to the police department. And the police department got paid for turning you back over to your master. And the master got paid for the work that they did, the work that you did out in the field. There were two big differences though. When you got put back on that plantation, the plantation owner he had a need to care for you like he would care for you before you were emancipated or liberated. He didn't have a need to care for you then. And by you coming off the plantation and then back on plantation as a leased individual from the state penitentiary, you are now you can get work to damn death and just discard it, and then he'll go get another one. But when you were a slave of that plantation owner, he had a responsibility to make sure you were fed well enough to get back in that field the next day. Now he ain't spending a whole lot of money on feeding slaves. He ain't spending a whole lot of money on maintaining slaves at all, because you're all leased from the state. And you are leased in a way where I ain't got to do shit for you. All I need you to do is work. And that's what we had to deal with as our ancestors. But we always talk about money and land. And then when we say money, we want land. Give us our 40 acres and a mule and we'll be happy. See, it's big, it's way bigger than that. We have so many different things that we should be asking for, rather than money and land. And then when you break the money down, now let's see, it's 40 million black people in the United States of America. Out of that 40 million, it's at least a third descendant from slavery, about a third. So a third of 40 million is what, 15 million people? So let's say 15 million people qualified themselves as slaves, or descendants of slaves. Now you got to pay, the government got to pay 15 million people X amount of dollars. And so what's a good amount that a person can play? Now, if you want to be a good person, call us at 210-872-2210, or go to our private chat room and leave us a message about what you think about this money that they should be paying us for reparations. We do this because this is what the United States does for us. Now, we're going to take a short break. And, don't go anywhere. Give us about 16 seconds, and we'll be right back. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA. As I was saying earlier, you got to show some proof of ownership on who you are and where you are descended from. And once you establish that, normally it's pretty smooth for you to go and to be qualified for your reparations. And the reason I say you got to be qualified, you got to separate yourself from the rest of the people of color in the United States. We have notoriously allowed them to categorize into this people of color category, and we've lost our identity. And so now, because we have no distinguished identity, we got to go back and reestablish this, or we're screwed, like we've been screwed so far. You know, there's no credibility whatsoever in us not having a status in America, no international status in America. We have to do that. You got black people from every part of the country in this country. We have black Mexicans, black Cubans, black Koreans, black Chinese, black Germans, black Englishmen, black Africans. We got actual Africans. And that surprised me well when I noticed the name of this new cultural center in DC. It's called the African American Cultural Center. See, they just continually do shit that know it's out of character. They know it is wrong. And they know that there is no legitimate nationality called African American. So why are you steadily doing shit to make us look invisible? We are African American is a man-made title. You don't see the Chinese American National Museum. You don't see that. We're not African and then American, because the last word is usually the highest word. If we are originally from Africa, then seem like that would be the origin. So the origin would be the major word. So we could be American African, because we're born here in America. We're born here in America. If we were American African, then that would to me would be more significant, because that last word is what's significant. Like we always say, Black American, African American. We should be American Black or American African, not the other way around, because the last word is where the significance is. So we've let everything get turned around, which we really ain't had much power to stop it from being turned around. So now it is time for us to start to focus on what is due and what is owed, and get what our descendants will need to survive in this country. We still fighting for equality in 2024, and that's a damn shame. You know, this shit has just been passed backwards for so long, and now we got Donald Trump in office. This is where the shit hit the fan. Nobody wants to believe that this man is serious about what he's saying. You know, we talk about it, we act about it, but ain't nobody doing shit about it. Donald Trump was fixing to uproar this damn country and turn it on his ass. And if you think that you're safe, that you ain't got shit to worry about, I'm sorry to say you will have a lot to worry about. I respect the President of the United States, and I respect what they do, but I do see this country getting taken through the cleaners. And sometimes, you know, you have to re-overhaul every damn thing. Like the Dallas Cowboys, you know, I'm glad they're winning right now, but if shit had kept going the way it was going, you had to start from scratch. That's what you have to do here. Start from scratch. I would like to say just thank you for being part of the Black News Network, but don't forget that you have to go to YouTube, BNN247, and subscribe to our page. Go to BNN247, subscribe to our page. Go to Facebook and like us on Facebook, and please leave a comment. And you can always call in at 210-872-2261. Or, like I said before, when you post a comment on a place like Facebook, it's a private chat. It's going to populate right here where I can see it, and we can respond live, and I can put your post on the screen, and we can talk about what you believe in, what you're saying, and see if we can come up with a better solution for you. You know, it took me 20 years to do something. And in those 20 years, I wrote on napkins, on toilet paper, on everything I can get my hands on. And I finally had the opportunity to put it all together in a book called Leave the Dirt in the Cotton Field. And some people look at it and say, what the hell is that? Leave the dirt in the cotton field. Leave the dirt in the cotton field is nothing more than not bringing your dirty baggage with you whenever you come in my presence, or in your presence, or in anybody's presence. You want everybody to leave their dirt wherever they had got it at. Don't bring it to this party. Leave it there. So, and it was inspired by me seeing Black men come out of the fields for lunch, and they were covered with dirt. And they were covered with dirt because they were working in the cotton field driving tractors. And it was just a sad scene to me. And I just could not get that thought out of my head about them being covered from head to toe with dirt. So buy my book, Leave the Dirt in the Cotton Field. You can get it from me. Give me a call, 210-872-2261. We broadcast every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. and again on Sundays at 3:30 p.m. We do appreciate your viewing, and we appreciate your comments, and we appreciate your subscription. We're moving on up, y'all. Thank you so much. Our numbers are looking very good, and we're going to keep it moving. Now, we've talked about land. We talked about money. We want our 40 acres and a mule, and we talking about 15 million people getting a check. You ain't talking more than $150,000, $200,000 at the most for 15 million people at 100,000. That's a lot of damn money. I don't even know the math. I don't feel like trying to calculate that damn. So be very aware that that's a lot of money that the government's talking about giving away. They got it. I don't know. They gave everybody all this money in during COVID, but it ain't got no comparison on the reparations that will be owed to the slaves, the descendants of slaves. We also need to talk about taxes. We get taxed just like everybody else. If you didn't know it, Indians don't pay taxes. Federal taxes don't pay taxes. In order to, but they try and confine the Indian to the reservation. It's always a catch-22. These people always got something to say. You gotta pay taxes on everything. Pay taxes on, let's start simple. You pay taxes when you go to the store and buy products. You pay taxes when you buy an automobile. You pay taxes when you pay your bill. Any bills you pay, like your light bill, your water bill, all these bullshit bills, your phone bill, they all got these bullshit taxes. You pay taxes when you rent a car. You pay taxes on the airplane ticket. You pay taxes on anything you're buying here in this country. Now, guess what? The taxes is. When you're paying taxes, you're paying the state and you're paying the federal government. You're paying three on your receipt, on a basic damn receipt. Look at that receipt. They're taxing the hell out of us. We end up paying at least 40% of our damn paycheck on taxes that we don't really pay attention to. You pay taxes on everything. So you just have to know that as a black descendant of a slave, paying all these taxes does not work. You can pay taxes on gasoline. So as a reparation payment, I would want to have no more taxes. If you can prove that you're a descendant of slave and you're registered as a descendant of slaves, you no longer pay all these taxes that we pay at everybody's damn stop. Everywhere we go, we're paying these taxes. But you become tax exempt from the United States taxes, any taxes in this country. If you're a descendant of a slave, you no longer pay taxes. The other thing is you got auto insurance. You don't need auto insurance. You got property taxes. You don't pay property taxes. You don't pay any of that stuff. And that is reparations to me. And not only for me, but for my descendants, everybody after me will never again have to pay these taxes. See, this money thing is a one-time thing in my mind. They're gonna pay you out this one fat ass lump of money and set you the hell up so you'll be happy. This land's gonna be another issue. They'll give you the land today and take it back tomorrow. So whatever you do, be very careful with the land. The other thing is life insurance. Everybody should have a life insurance policy because nobody wants to think about it until the time comes. When people die, that's another expense. Everybody that died costs. It's gonna cost money. And if they don't have the money and they don't have the insurance, then somebody's gonna get held up with the payment for that body going to their final resting place, or you're gonna donate that body to the federal some study group in college. Somebody studying to be a doctor. You should have, as a descendant of a slave, you should be you should have free health care. You should be able to get a prominent, established physician to pay or to take care of your health. You should be able to go to any doctor's office and show your lineage card, and they would process you and give you first class treatment, not the basic standard emergency room treatment that most people get. The other thing you will need is mental care. All this is a package that we should craft, asking for reparations. This is what we want. We never ever submitted a document to Washington, D.C. asking for what we want. We've always talked about this shit, but we never asked for what the hell we want. And that tells me another thing. Too, black and white people are so much different. White people will ask you, I don't give a damn what it is. I don't care what they have to do. If they want something, they're going to go get it. Whether they got to lick boot, kiss ass, and do anything else they need to do to get it, they're going to get it. But when we want something, we expect people to know that we need it. We expect people to know that they should give it to us. We sometimes we can say we're too proud to beg. And it ain't begging if it's your livelihood. If you got to feed your family, you're going to have to ask. Ask for what you want in your job too. Anywhere in the world today, if you go to the store looking for something, you can't find it, you ask and they tell you where it's at. Same shit here. You looking for something, you trying to get paid for your reparation, you gotta ask for it. And if you don't, you're not gonna get it. So we as a culture of people, and we're not black, we're not African American, none of that bullshit, because all of those are man-made names. I say that on every show. Those are not our names. We're not damn black. We're not African American. We're not colored. We're not damn Negroes. We're none of that shit. We're Moabites and Canaanites, descendants of slaves. We can track our lineage all the way back to before Jesus Christ if we really have to. We need free education up until the doctorate level. We don't need to pay for anything. We don't need to pay for the shit that we done paid for forever. Every person that can prove that they're descendants should have 100% of their student loans forgiven. 100% right away. We should have a retirement home. We should not worry. We should be able to move into a place as an elderly person and be taken care of health-wise, mental-wise, and final resting place-wise. There should always be something in place for us. We should never be without health care, even home health care. We should have all that shit. But I need you to remember, proof of ownership. Establish your legacy. There's too many black folks in this country right now that can derail the whole damn process if you allow it. There's too many people that can derail the entire process of us getting our reparations. We have to do better. Put together a letter. Let's decide what we want for reparations. And it's bigger than money and it's bigger than land. So don't hesitate to write it down if you think it's something we deserve. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting from a black perspective. We hope to see you on our Sunday show at 3:30 p.m. live on all of your social media channels. Respond to us some kind of way and we'll know you're there. Thank you for your viewing and thank you for being a member and a viewer of the Black News Network. I'm Brother Smith-Bey, your host, and I will see you again on Sunday where we're going to dive deeper into reparations that we should be getting.